So we just got this fancy new tool here in our OB department that is a loss of resistance syringe that instead of using tactile feedback to detect if you're in the epidural space, it has a visual indicator. So when you get into the epidural space and have a loss of resistance, it actually shows you a visual cue. And I want to show you exactly how this works. I got my fancy new loss of resistance syringe, I got my Tui needle, and I've got my patient. First thing you want to do is you want to get your Tui needle engaged in the tissue. So I'm actually going to show you here. You can see it coming out the other side. That way you can actually see what happens when you get through the tissue. Once you're engaged in the tissue, there's no air leak or the hole is also the Tui is completely covered. Then I can engage my new loss of resistance syringe. Now you see this little yellow indicator right here? Now I'm going to put some pressure on that until that thing is covered, right? As I put some pressure on that, now I can't see that yellow indicator. Now I don't have to push anymore. I don't put any more pressure on this thing. It's going to do all the work by itself. So as I start pushing through, I'm just pushing, trying to find my space. And if you can see, as it comes through the top, it's just starting to poke through on the top. As it pokes through and it gets a loss, and it pokes through, boom, look at that. My indicator just showed me that I got into the space. So now my Tui needle is through. And if I want to, I can continue to push and flush that space and give it all the rest of that fluid and open the space up like that and flood it open. But there's no tactile sensation in there for me to know that I'm in, only this visual indicator. Now for me, I'll admit that this thing is solving a problem I didn't have. I didn't have any trouble getting loss, and I've done this for a while now, so I know what a good loss feels like, so it doesn't really help me that much. But I think a use case for this, and I'm curious to hear what you all think, is a new learner. You know, like the glide scope allows you to intubate maybe on day one, this potentially allow a new learner to place an epidural on day one. You don't have to know what it feels like to pop that ligament and flavum. You can just have this thing. And as long as you get the direction right and you're in the right space, this thing will tell you that you're in the space. Then you flush it and thread your catheter through. So I'm curious if you guys have used something like this, what you think, and if you think maybe the learning curve for placing an epidural will be drastic. I should mention too that the manufacturer of this thing is not a sponsor, by the way. I just found this thing and thought it was interesting and wanted to talk about it.